This is the moment you guys have all been waiting for, the fat loss video. So right now I have my friend Victor, and he's going to tell you guys a little bit about himself before we begin.
My name is Victor. I've been a personal trainer for about 5 years now. I now hold about 5 certifications as far as exercise programming and nutritional science. I work with people with disabilities as well, and so just a couple of different fitness populations. I'm here to help out Axa with some of her fat loss questions and just kind of go over a couple of different myths and kind of clear things up in the fitness industry.
A couple of questions that people have asked was what diet they should stick to.
Essentially, it's going to be the one that you can stick to.
Before you guys go into a new diet, we recommend that you look into the diet you guys already have. And by doing that, there are apps out there like MyFitnessPal, MyPlate, that kind of does the work for you.
So taking advantage of like downloading some of those apps is going to be really important, because you'll be able to see one, if you're under eating or if you're overeating, or just how many calories are in the foods that you already have. So if you just kind of take like a day where you can track all of the food that you're taking in, anything that you snack on, you can see exactly how your regular daily routine is looking like. And after you track it for like a week or maybe like 2 weeks, you'll be able to kind of get a good feel for what your meal should look like.
You'll be able to eyeball.
Right, you'll be able to eyeball. It's a good tool to kind of use in the beginning, and it will seem taxing at the beginning, but it starts to become a habit and you start to get a lot more comfortable with it.
We want to stress to you, this does not mean that you have to stick to a boring meal plan. Take it away.
All right, so with flexible dieting, you're making sure that you are able to fit foods you wouldn't really consider as part of like your diet plan specifically, but you're including it into your daily macros and your daily calories. If you were to be on a certain meal plan and you have 21 grams of carbs left in the day, and your program calls for you to have like a banana, which is like 21 grams of sugar, and so it's like 21 carbs. So instead, you could replace that with like Skittles, as long as it has the same macronutrients as that meal you're replacing. You're still going to be losing weight because you've kind of made it fit into that deficit you've established. A good rule of thumb is really kind of just keeping it within 10 to 15% of what your total calories are. So don't obviously don't make your entire diet all Pop-Tarts just because you know that you can make it fit, because again there's extremes to everything. You are still going to want to have structure. You want a majority of your diet to still be whole, nutrition dense foods with very minimally processed, making sure you're getting your servings of vegetables, fiber, and protein.
Keeping up with your macros is super important, because now that you know that you can have a flexible diet, now that whenever you do eat ice cream or Skittles, you won't feel guilty, and that won't trigger your stress hormone. It's all about balance.
Right.
Balance. If you guys are sticking to a diet and you notice you have hit a plateau, here's the answer.
Your deficit is established off of the maintenance calories at the time. So if you've lost weight, say you started at 170 and now your calories are at 160, and now you're not losing weight anymore, your maintenance calories are different, and so now your deficit calories might be even lower. So there's 2 things you can either do at your plateau. It could be changing up your cardio routine or your weight training routine, so essentially doing more activity, or decreasing those calories. And so by small amounts, so something maybe around the realms of like 60 to 100 calories, just so that you can get over that plateau and then continue to see the weight loss, and then you stay at that set point until you see that plateau again. In terms of cardio, you want to look at cardio as a tool, not necessarily a means to losing weight. So again, it's just another way of kind of increasing your total daily expenditure.
Whenever you don't feel like you're seeing results, should you weigh yourself every week, or tape measure, or both?
I think both. The scale, you obviously don't want to become fixated on the number on the scale, because there's so many different factors as far as weight fluctuation. If you don't get enough sleep, your weight could fluctuate. Your hormone, certain days, if you have like higher sodium or weren't drinking enough water, you might have some water retention. Days where you have maybe more fiber, things like that. So there's a lot of different factors. If you want to kind of get like a consistent view of how you're progressing, it's good to do it, I'd say, once a week, and trying to do it at the same time every single week. So say like Friday morning at 8 a.m., you know, as soon as you wake up, after you've gone to the restroom before breakfast, so you can kind of build an average. But as far as like the measurements are going to be a lot more important, because you'll be able to see different compositional changes.
Should they have more carbs than protein, or does it matter?
It will depend on what phase of like your weight loss you're in. So if you're kind of starting off, it might be usually will be higher than what your protein intake is, but again, that'll start to change. So essentially you're wanting to increase that protein as you're starting to kind of like drop the weight. So you're wanting to still keep it at a pretty high level. So I'd say it's definitely going to be higher than your fats, but it might be, you know, kind of start off a little bit higher than your protein, but start to get down lower than the protein, because you're trying to still use it for performance as well.
Okay. When it comes to the gym, what are they doing?
So what you do once you get in the gym is going to be dependent on what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. So I have a client who a lot of the deficiency like in their lower body strength, and I'm going to be incorporating maybe more lower body movements. You also want to look at is like your rep ranges and your sets. Your rep ranges are probably going to be on the higher end because you're trying to work on endurance.
The exact high rep ranges, I would say, is about 12 to 15 or 15 to 20. So let's say you're doing 12. You want to have your breaking point at like 10 or 11 or just 12.
Whenever you go into your fat loss phase, your goal is to now maintain as much muscle and strength as possible. So that way you're not just kind of burning any of that muscle along with that fat.
I feel like we covered like everything, but I don't know.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. As you can tell, there is so much about fat loss that we cannot squeeze into this tiny video because I don't want to make it too long. But I hope everything he said has helped you guys. If you guys have any other questions, please comment below. But thank you, Victor,
Yeah, no
and
problem.
we'll see you guys again. Bye.